A lot of people may not know that before photographing with an actual camera, I photographed with a phone for 3 years. I photographed with just a phone, I photographed with a phone with an external phone macro lens attached, and I photographed with certain phones that gave me an advantage when it came to extra magnification. Though when shooting with a phone, magnification is not everything because most phones should not be able to give you the leverage to achieve high magnification phone shots. So I'd always advise you to stick to wide angle shots, composition shots, and things like that. But if high magnification phone shots is something you want and you've been trying to decide what kind of phone would be able to give me high magnification phone shots, then this video is for you, because in just a few minutes I'm going to guide you to know the best phone to pick for high magnification macro photography. If you're new to the channel, I'm David Joseph at ABCD David on Instagram. I'm a macro wildlife photographer, and for many years I photographed with a phone before switching to a camera, thanks to the generous macro photography community who crowdfunded for my first camera. I'm currently shooting with the A1. It's been amazing, so I have all the experience of shooting macro with the phone and then with the camera. So yeah, that's pretty much about me. Actually there's more, but I mean this is a good start. So yeah, let's get to the video. Currently in the phone market, there are lots of phones that advertise a macro lens as part of its lens, and to be honest, a lot of these macro lenses in phones are dog poop. Honestly, that's just how it is. I'm not going to state why in this particular video, but if you want to know why, then that is a good reason why you should subscribe to the channel, because in a later video I'm going to talk about why mobile macro lenses, the internal ones, are very poor in most. Now, in very few select phones, the macro lenses, the internal ones, they are what I could say fair, and then just very few phones have good internal macro lenses. So I don't think you should rely on the macro lens of your phone. Don't buy a phone because it's said to have this internal macro lens, this magnification macro lens. I mean, it's very poor. So that's it. That's the first thing you should know and avoid. The first step in becoming a professional mobile macro photographer who gets high magnification macro photos is getting an external macro lens. An external phone macro lens is going to help you get closer as well as achieve higher magnification, and there are lots of them in the market now. When I was shooting with a phone, I used the Apexel 100mm macro lens. I used other ones, but that one was my favorite, the one that stood out the most for me, and it was what I used till I switched to an actual camera. So if you are looking for an external phone macro lens to shop, I recommend the Apexel 100mm phone macro lens. Funny enough, I don't know if it's funny. I shouldn't have used funny enough, but I have an affiliate link for that. So if you are going to shop through the link, it's going to be in the description. You are going to have 10% off. So yeah, that is the lens I recommend. It's quite cheap compared to other lens options, and then it has great quality. So I recommend that lens. Now, when you've gotten a lens, the next thing you have to do is shop for the right phone. The right kind of phone is not just going to be a phone with a camera. In macro photography, it's not about the megapixel. I mean, you don't need a phone with 50 MP, 108 MP, all that stuff. No, that isn't what is going to do the magic for you. You need a phone that has lossless zoom, like 2x or maybe 3x, 5x, 10x. That is where the magic lies. I mean, I've just spilled the magic trick or magic secret, anyone you want to use. Yes, that is where the magic is. You need a phone that can punch in 2 times, 3 times, 5 times without, dropping quality. For me, I use the Infinix Zero X Pro, and this phone had a 5x periscope zoom lens. In practice, this lens is for capturing things from a distance, just like any other kind of zoom lens that you'd have in a phone. 5x, that made it like 125mm equivalent, meaning that I could capture distant subject. I was able to use this to photograph birds and things like that, and even street photography back then. Funny enough, I don't have the images backed up, so I can't show you the images, but yeah, I have the macro ones backed up. So the thing is, with a lens like this, having 5x zoom, when you attach your macro lens, it converts that distance that it would have given you, like the 5x distance, the 120mm equivalent thing, which you'd have been able to capture farther subjects, like as if you were close by, it converts it to magnification. Like if you attach the macro lens now, instead of having to be able to shoot subject at 125 distance, you're now able to shoot something close to you at 5x, and you could punch in from there a little bit, maybe to 7x or 8x. This is why I say you could have a phone that does 10x zoom, because 10x zoom, you'll be really getting super close-up captures. And it's quite funny because I think there's a sweet spot. For me, the sweet spot was between 7x and 8x. But then if you have 10x, you may be limited. You may not be able to photograph every kind of subject, because if you zoom in that much, you could be cutting out necessary parts of the subject, like the maybe legs and stuff like that. So 10x, though quite, very good. I think 7x, 8x is the sweet spot. And I don't think you'll really find lots of phones that have that, magnification level. So 5x is a very good spot for you. If you have a phone that has 5x lossless zoom, yes, pick that. You will then be able to maybe just punch it a little bit to 6.5, 7, or 8x and get the shot. And it doesn't have to be 5x only. You could try a phone with 3x zoom. 3x is going to do the job for most subjects, and it's still going to be wide enough, so you'll be able to capture the environment and the subject in a very magnified manner. The next thing you have to do, if you want to achieve the best result with these things you have now, that is the external macro lens and a phone that can do 3, maybe 5 or beyond that lossless zoom. The next thing is to switch on pro or manual mode in your phone. Now, you may have to use your stock camera app because you are using the secondary cameras. So back then, I don't know about now, but back then, not many phones allowed you to use the secondary camera when you are using a third-party camera app. So you just have to find that out if there's any third-party camera app that grants you access to your secondary cameras, complete access. But if there isn't, nowadays phones have the pro and manual mode in the stock camera app, unlike back then. Not every phone had it. So you're going to use the pro or manual mode. And one feature you're really going to enjoy a lot is the focus distance feature. That's the maximum focus distance and minimum focus distance. This feature will help you determine how close you want to be to your subject or how far away you want to be from your subject while photographing it, even when you are using the external macro lens and attaching it to your 5x or maybe 3x or 10x lossless zoom lens. So these are like 3 simple steps. Get an external macro lens, get a phone with 3, 5 or 10x lossless zoom, and use pro or manual mode. And with this, I believe you should just know the best phone to choose for macro photography. And this is kind of like a simple trick to become a master at mobile macro photography. I'm going to make more videos like this in the future, so if mobile macro photography is something you're excited about, I encourage you to subscribe. But if you want to maybe go beyond mobile macro, I have videos in the channel that are about budget pro macro photography setups, as well as other macro photography related things like what's in my camera bag and stuff like that, tips, all of it. So yeah, I encourage you to subscribe. I'm David Joseph at ABCD David, and this was a very quick video, and I'll see you next time.